What's going on, Z Warriors? Mr. Waffles here, and just let you know, I reached 500 subs, so thanks for all you guys for all your help and everything like that. That's the one of the benchmarks I set for myself, and with that, I'm going to treat you guys to a special deck profile, and it's Blue Vegeta. So I'm repping the blue, and Chelsea, one of my favorite football teams, and football is soccer, not American football. So we're just going to be talking about Blue Vegeta, what he actually does, what the deck kind of entails, how Vegeta's really played. There are a couple of ways to play him. I'm building him where you just stay on one. I actually prefer to level, so like something with like dominance, maybe camp on two, and keep abusing his power or try to go to three or something like that with like digs and stuff. But I'm just gonna try and abuse his level one as best as possible. So I'm just gonna stick to just the level one build. It's just a rough draft version, but with this deck, with Vegeta, since he doesn't have an extra action, you want to make sure that you are really aggressive. Reason being is because like decks like Piccolo or like any like kind of gimmicky decks where they don't really need to attack you, um, and since you don't have any power to really put pressure on, you have to make sure that you really deliver that power. So I made it where all the attacks pretty much almost do life cards, or if they do stages, they're like really high stages, like +5 attacks and stuff like that. So with further ado, I'll show you guys the Blue Vegeta deck list. So for physicals, we're starting off with 3 Sinister Choke. So again, this card is like basically Adidas for everyone, and it's pretty much a game ender. So you can, later in the game, this card gets really powerful. Even early game, you just play it. If they can't stop it, it's 5 life. So again, because Vegeta lacks a power, you want to make sure that every attack that you do has significant value, whether it be life cards or has some kind of board removal or something to that effect. So yeah, 3 Sinister Choke. This card again is very deadly. It's, late game you just have to worry about it because it's so easy for people to kind of play into where they think they're safe because they're setting like VTPs and all this stuff, and then you could just enter and just kind of steal games with it. So I'm just glad that now everyone has Adidas. So another card that I guess to complain about, but I like it a lot. So 3 choke. Um, we have 2 blue backbreak. So again, some ways to get rid of allies with just outside of critting, it's essential. So if you're playing against the tag team mastery, you have this card to kind of get rid of it. So I think 2 is efficient. I want to bump it up to 3. It's either this or maybe like tug of war or something like that. Again, I just try to be really offensive, so that's why I played these instead. But tug of war is not a bad substitute as well because it also lowers anger. So and you're playing protective, so you can make sure that your opponent can't really level. So I'm trying out the 2 blue backbreak. Next up, 2 blue face crunch. So they're an old foil scoresy. They look really nice. Um, Again, I have a lot of like energy attacks in this build, and physicals can be like the bane of this deck in the sense that you know you're not really getting the value that you need to use like your Galick guns and stuff. So this card helps you look at the hand so you can see what to block with Vegeta, what not to block. So knowledge is power, and to be able to look at your hand, gain 3 stages is very good as well. And again, it's +5, so it's not like it's a cheesy physical attack. It actually does a huge amount of stages. So I just play 2 just because you want to get the stages, look at the hand, and you also play mental drill, so you don't really need to. I don't think C3. I figured a third copy of this can be something that might be more efficient. So 2 blue face crunch. Uh, also have 3 blue round throw. So reason for this card is because again with Vegeta, um, you want to make sure you have offense and defense. So this card is basically a perfect example of that because it can be an energy block or it can be a physical attack. So no matter what, there's always a live card in your hand as opposed to a block, which is only useful if your opponent has an attack. So this card again being +5, lower your opponent's anger 1, it has a lot of utility. So I figured again with Vegeta being able to switch from offense to defense is very important. So I think this card is definitely a must. Next up is a 3 Blue Betrayal. Spot removal. Anything that your opponent has on the board, you'll be able to clear it. You also play position drill, which we'll talk about later on. So be able to kind of stack this again by stopping it with your mastery or whatever, and kind of keep using it. So again, it's just good spot removal all around. again, ways to get rid of allies and setups or problematic cards. This card's your answer. So we play 3 Blue Betrayal. Next up, 3 Blue Slash. So I like this card a lot because it can really close in the life gap value. Um, if you have like a setup, there was like one combat where I was playing with my friend, I think online, and I had Biting Drill out, and they had 0 anger, so I played this, lowered their anger 1, so they milled 1, and then they're also at 0, so they took 1 life card in 2 stages, and then they lost 6 because they had no anger. So this card can easily be like anywhere from 7 to like 7 plus life cards just in 1 card, and it has endurance as well. So again, all the attacks that you want to do, you want to make sure they have some kind of value and purpose, and to be able to um, basically deal your opponent 7 life cards with 1 card is huge, as well as lowering anger in the process. And you also play Lifting Drill, which we'll go over. So 2 life cards and then destroy 6. I don't care about Lookout Drill that much because you have the betrayals and stuff like that, and most people play 1 anyway if they're still playing it now. I'm not sure if they are as much, but I wouldn't worry about it too much at all. So 3 Blue Slash. We also have 3 Blue Headknock. So again, endurance 2, 5 life cards, lower anger to 0. So it's another good control card. And again, it's life, so you want to make sure you just kind of be very aggressive. And again, any card that you're playing, you want to make sure you have maximum value out of it. So this card, again, 5 life cards, just being able to just cut through the deck and not really worry about the stages, because again, Vegeta doesn't have a power, so it's very hard to really stage lock your opponent, even though that's what his like other power is, where you can convert life cards to stages. I would probably never really make this into 5 stages unless I really need to, because 20 right now is pretty much meta and it gains 4 stages, so it's pretty much no point. And I guess some other MPs, you can try and stage lock them, but since this deck's not really dedicated to stage locking to begin with most of my physicals doing life cards, I would probably really never use this effect, but it can always come in handy. You never know. But 3 Blue Headknock to finish off the physical attacks. For physical blocks, 1 Swift block. I still like these cards where like this and Avoidance, just because you can make good use of Vegeta's effects. So there's a lot of good physical attacks in the game. One of them being Sinister Choke, so to be able to copy it is always good. I probably might bump it up to 2 for sure, but just 1 right now because it's never really dead if you have it in your hand, because you can just use it to block an energy, or if it's a physical, you can, instead of discarding a card, you can just reveal it and just copy it. So it's really good. We also have 2 Blue Wrist Block, again, to be able to destroy stuff on your opponent's side. Again, since people are playing Choke, there's a lot of physical attacks that are still heavily prevalent, like digs and stuff like that. So this card will still be useful, and to be able to destroy their opponent's setup or drill. Again, just a Blue Betrayal, a weaker Blue Betrayal on your opponent's side, which is not bad at all. So 2 Blue Wrist Block for sure. I might bump it up to 3 depending how I see it fit, but it's a good support card, so I'm just playing 2. And same thing with the 2 Blue Precarious defense. So your opponent has like VTP or anything like problematic setup. Now you can just clear it away, so it's just good board removal. It's not permanent, but can help you just know that it's at the bottom of the life deck, so it's gonna take a while for that card to resurface. So having 2 just to be able to clear any threats that might be a problem later on, like Dragon Clan or Radar or something like that. So it's playing 2. For energy combats, obviously Blue Terror being able to search out anything, so it's clutch, so staple no matter like what blue, whether it's tag team or whatever. Blue Terror for sure, automatic staple, too good. Playing 3 Galick, so again, being able to go directly to life if it hits, it's 6 life cards that they lost, and be able to get the double crit. So if they have like 2 Dragon Balls or something like that, again, you can steal them both. Raise your anger, which you're not really doing, but it kind of helps. So if you're ever in a pinch where you need to actually level up, and then you could also use your master to help manipulate your anger. This card, I guess, would assist with that. Same thing with Blue Backbreak. So 3 Galick for sure, just be able to have heavy input into your opponent's life deck just by dealing really massive amounts of damage. 1 Blue Rejection. This card I'm trying out, this card probably taken out for something else, but just to be able to kind of mix things up with the energies. Also being able to, what I like about Vegeta is you're going against, let's say, like a physical beatdown deck, you can use this card to stop a physical with the mastery, reveal it, and then just play it. So that's why I like Vegeta in that aspect. And his level 1 is Vegeta calculating, so he's a very like tactical. Say it right? Is it tactical?
Tactical?
Tactical, I
That's
guess.
the
Yeah,
word.
it sounds. Well, you know what I mean. But he's very strategic. So to be able to be again offensive and defensive, where your opponent tries to land an attack, you go Vegeta, use the mastery, block it, just reveal it, and then just tactful. There we go, and then just use the energy attack or whatever. So again, that's why I really like Vegeta in that aspect, to be able to kind of really switch offense and defense, which really complements the mastery as a whole. So just playing one of these, and the gain to 4 stages is always nice as well. And also your next style, attack if it hits, you don't have to pay. So for style energies as well, we also play 3 blue arm blast. So again, with this card, being able to be offensive and defensive. So if you're in a binding spot where your opponent might play a physical beatdown deck, you have this card to help protect you with that. If you need a land and energy attack or something like that, you can just play it. So 3 blue arm blast, again, the perfect card to complement with blue round throw in terms of attack and defense. So no matter what the situation is, you're always prepared. So that's Vegeta for you. So 3 of these. We also have 2 blue neck beams, so endurance 1 is really good. Again, I also try to prepare for a bunch of bases. Your opponent levels up. I know it's blue, but not all the time. You might get the cards you need, so be able to neck beam them if it hits to lower them down a level or something, or even raise them up is always good. So to have that utility, which I like, for me is very important. So 2 of these is, and if you're in a binding spot where you need to gain stages, you can use that for the mastery, or if your opponent does a physical energy attack and you have blue avoidance or swift block, you can discard it and gain some stages and try and land an energy attack or something like that. So 2 blue neck beams. We also have 2 blue avoidance. Another good card, again, being able to copy attacks, and you don't have to discard the card because you can just reveal with Vegeta is always good. And just 2 because it's a good support card. It's not like you want to have so many blocks with this deck. I try to make sure I don't have too many blocks. Even though defense is important, I also with this deck want to be offensive. So I don't want to have like a handful of blocks and then not really being able to attack. But at the same time, with Vegeta, you can kind of afford to do that because you can just enter, burn your opponent for 3 cards, try and land an attack. If it gets blocked, then, you at least burned your opponent for 3 cards. But again, I also want to really be offensive. So, if I just needed like 1 defense or something like that, this can be a physical block, or as you can see, is obviously an energy block. So to be able to still have that utility is always important. And be able to copy an energy attack is always good. Some good one like PowerPoint, anything that's really good right now. Since I'm not playing allies but overpowering attack, just to be able to copy it just has enough value on its own, where you're not really losing the card because you're using Vegeta's power. Then we have 3 blue narrow escapes. The endurance on this card is obviously really good, and again to be able to recycle your Galick guns, your arm blast, so you pitch it, they land an energy, or they try to, you can just block it and then just stack some good stuff on top like avoidance. So that's why I only play 2 of some of them, just because you can just stack it on top again with this card. And if you have possession drill, you can stack another card. So the card offers a great variety, whether it's in your hand or in your deck. Is always a good card. So you just want to make sure that with this, that you have some good amount of energy attacks. Even if you have to use it, if you have none, you're stopping an energy attack. At the same time, you could also maybe want to take some damage so that way you can make this card live. But just the fact that it just puts 2 back on top is really good. And to reuse your Galick guns, I think is just or the more better. That's for me. That's the main reason why I like this, just to use Galick gun and potentially just stack it on top of my deck. For events, at one time, obviously stable, stop anything. I'm playing 3 sphere. You can probably cut it down to 2. I just like 3 because I have 3, and I figured I'll just try out the maximum value, and if it doesn't seem to work out, then I can just always cut it. But so far, it's been working really well. Being able to rejuve a card, and just to be able to kind of nitpick stuff against Namekian is always clutch. Some decks is not as much, but you just want to make sure that you can have this card to just stop like key cards, like your opponent's time or some other crazy event, hurried quest or something like that. So I'm playing 3. You don't have to, but I would at least try. If you have 1 or 2, just put it in there. If you have 3, try 3. If you don't like it, just cut it down. And 3 confrontation, again, knowledge is power, so to be able to look at your opponent's hand, knowing what attack to block, what attack to make really good use of Vegeta is very important. So this card, again, can just easily just trade the best card, and with this card, you're just basically trading a card, like the best card in their hand, and putting it back into the deck. So, 3 confrontation. For setups and drills, playing 1 heroic plan, because you can with Vegeta, which is really cool. Again, utility is important, so search out anything that you want is always good. I'm playing 1 radar because I do play Dragon Balls, so again, tutoring is always good. Utility, so whatever situation that you're in, you can have a ball for it. I'm not playing too many, but I still don't want to have the chance of kind of luck into drawing them. I just want to be able to have a certified way of actually getting them. So 1 Dragon Radar. 2 visitings to be able to cycle out and get what you need. Again, utility of this card. So if you're ever in a spot where you need to try and end the game, if you have a confront in hand, you can like VTP for like Blue Slash or Galick or something like that and try and seal away the game. So we're playing 2 VTP. 1 lookout drill, just because you never know what you're going to be facing against. So we just have the 1 in there. It doesn't really hurt when you play Rejuva card, so it's not that bad. 1 blue position drill. So again, being able to stop a cat with Vegeta, stack a styled card on top, and you have so much value with this. Again, we've mentioned with Blue Narrow Escape, stop a energy attack, stack 2, and then stack another 1. So to be able to kind of keep you in the grind game if you're ever like mid to late game, this card can really help you out. This card I'm trying out for sure, Blue Observation Drill. I don't see a lot of people playing this, but again, if you have this, it makes basically everything that you do pretty much deadly. And with Vegeta, you can at least block 1 attack if anything. So you want to also make sure that your damage output is huge. So Blue Observation can really like try and just close in the gap. Dig is a really good card for a reason because it shows up endurance. Even if it gets blocked. So I figured you have a card, even though for both players, you have the way of protecting yourself more than your opponent, I feel. So having this card can be really clutch and probably can end some games. 1 blue lifting drill, again, just for chip damage, a +1 for anything. So even if you're doing a physical attack for like +5 stages, it'll still do 1 life. So to be able to have that extra chip damage in there is good. Then when your opponent blocks your attacks, to lower their anger. So to be able to control that aspect as well, to be rewarded for being aggressive is always good, and this card helps complement that. 1 blue biting drill. So add on the stages, just add on the damage, and plus the lowering anger if they're at 0 to mill is really good, or destroy top from the deck. So this card again offers a lot of great value in it. I just like it for the mill aspect. So even against like certain decks that might not attack as much, you can still try and lower their anger just to keep getting some damage in there if anything. So 1 blue biting drill, this card's really good. 1 blue battle drill. So I'm trying this card out again. Vegeta's very aggressive. At least that's how I'm trying to make mine to be. So to be able to have cards that can end combat is always good. So, and it has endurance as well. So it's never a bad thing. If it ever goes to the discard pile, if you have blue positioning, you can always stack it on top and stuff like that. So I'm just trying that out. And last but not least, for drills, 2 blue mental drill. So this card's amazing. To be able to know what to block, when to block it is always clutch, and endurance too. So if 1 goes away, you have a backup 1. I can't say how much this card really helps the deck a lot, just to be able to see what you want to block it, which is huge, especially with Vegeta. Sometimes you may want to discard a card for your mastery, instead of revealing, depending on the situation, but this card just lets you always stay 1 step ahead of the game. And also thinks that, like, since you see your opponent's hand, your opponent might think of what you're thinking because they know that you've seen your hand, but it allows you to play in such a way that, it gives you so much advantage because they can't see your hand with this. So 2 blue mental drill. And for Dragon Balls, 4 and 6. I'm just trying them out. I like 4 a lot in anything, pretty much. I also had 7 here, which I might add back in, and then 6 again for the power up rating, just to help you keep the stages and everything like that. Um, you have ways to crit it back, whether it be Galick or just any high energy attack with like Arm Blast or things like that. But for the most part, or Head Knock and stuff. So um, you know 6 maybe might make the cut. I might take it out just for 7, just to add again that utility in the late game shenanigans. But I like 4 a lot, even though I play setups and drills, just to be able to clear my opponents. Um, and if I have ways to get it back, then it could probably hurt my opponent more because they probably need the setups more than I do. They just kind of help me. I just, for the most part, play Vegeta as to just do a lot of damage, and the setups help, but it's not like I need them to win or anything like that. So that's pretty much it with the deck profile. Again, with Vegeta, there's several ways to build him. I'll try and actually make him level up because his 3 is pretty much a better 1. So, I know a lot of people like to camp on 1, but I'll try something with like a dominance, which I probably might show you guys a build of that later on too. But a blue dominance kind of build with Vegeta to really make use of, put on the pressure with his 4, because his 4 is a physical attack for 4 life cards, which is pretty big, with Bite and Drill or Lift and Drill or anything like that, 5 life cards, 2 stages, just really brings on the beats. But his level 3, which is really good as well. So I'll try and make him level if possible. But if you guys want to stay on 1, this is what I'm playing right now. So you can. This hopefully gives you guys a skeleton of how to go around about it. It's kind of hard to really build Vegeta because like how many like avoidance or swift blocks or whatever I need to play. But I wouldn't focus so much on that ability. It's definitely good, but don't try to make your deck totally around it. Just know that it's just there to complement it. Just really just try and focus on really just dealing as much damage as possible. And hopefully cards like Blue Observation can help with that. I might tinker around with like digs and stuff as well. Some just make sure that you end the game, or even key build up, stuff like that, just to make sure you get some extra damage in there. But I've been playing it, and I've actually been winning a couple games. They've always been grindy. It's never been like a blowout kind of game. He's really good against aggressive decks because then they want to attack you, so you actually get use of this. But against like gimmicky decks like Ball Kami or something like that, where they don't really need to attack you, that's why you want to be aggressive, because no matter what, if you have a lot of defense, they can just either ball out, or if they're playing Namekian, they can probably ball out. So, decks that don't really care, or even like Black Wheeler, where they can just probably mill you and they don't have to do much attacking. You want to make sure that you are aggressive definitely, because he doesn't have a power, so you have to make sure you kind of bring it to them, because you can't afford to just wait and sit and expect something to happen. I figured you really have to go in there and just know when to block and what not to block. Sometimes you want to take damage and keep the extra card in your hand. If or if your opponent, let's say, if it's attacking you, and you want to retaliate by attacking, sometimes it's best to just wait a bit just to see what they do, and then just kind of go and strike, or even vice versa, where you might not want to use the card in your hand. You might want to just save it for the mastery or something like that. And it also plays a lot of mind games, because since you're revealing the card, your opponent knows what you have, so you can either use it or save it, or you can kind of do some things with that, knowing that your opponent knows what you have. You can kind of use that to your advantage in a way as well. So there's a lot of different ways to go about it. As for certain combos, this deck is not really like a combo-based deck. I just know that the utility that it offers is really good. So to be able to have chokes to be live no matter what, having your spot removal, for whatever situation is always good. Stages to gain stages and stuff like that. Look at hand, gain knowledge is always helpful. Being able to be offensive and defensive with cards like these. So I'm just gonna lay out the deck, but this is pretty much the build, and it's something that you can't just really pick up and just play. You have to really make sure that your build is catered to what you want it to be. You want to make sure that you know, if you wanted to be like more stabilized in terms of not so much attacking, just maybe having just setting up a wall or something like that. You know, that you can't enter every turn. If you want to be aggressive, I have the build for it. So it's all about how you build it and how you play, knowing what the matchups are, knowing a bunch of different things like that. It's always important. So it's just pretty much the deck, laying it out, and yeah, Blue Vegeta. It's a lot of people give him a lot of crap. He's he's definitely, like I said, not my really like my play style, because I'd like to be able to have like he has options, but I just always felt like I wasn't really getting anywhere. But you do get somewhere with him. It's just very grindy. So if you really like want to have those long grindy games and stuff like that, make sure your deck is built to last. Hence why I have like the positioning drills and stuff, narrow escapes to really make sure at least you can outlast your opponent. And if you can land like a slash or something like that, or just one of these attacks that really do some life cards that can really help widen the gap a bit. So that's pretty much it. So again, thanks for the 500 subs and Blue Vegeta. So check it out, try it. I know it's not for everybody, but at least give it a shot. It has great angle control, and offers a lot of utility. So until next time, Z Warriors, Mr. Waffles out.